Hi guys, it's Friday, yay! I'm kind of in a mellow Friday mood today. It's kind of drizzly out and chilly. Actually it's warmer than it has been, but it's just one of those there's no sun. I'm bumming. It's gray out. So it's interesting. It's crazy how we always talk about the weather and our environment, but it really does, it has an impact. It has an impact on me, just whether or not it's sunny or gray out. And so if it's gray, I try to do some things that are going to perk me up, make me feel better. And that's generally music is one thing. So I kind of have some, I got some James Taylor on. I haven't listened to that in a long time. I'm kind of in that's kind of frame of mood. But earlier I had some more of a peppy type of music happening, which definitely kind of gets into my soul. And anybody out there? Hello? Anyway, I'll just keep on going. I've been kind of playing around with the time of the day that I do these Friday sit in my kitchen talks. And just trying to find a good time. So let me know when would be a good time for you all, when you think it's best for you to, to tune in. It's a lot more fun when there's people there on the other end dialoguing. But if not, you can watch this whenever. That's fine too. So love connecting in one way or the other. So I know it is that time where a lot of people are trying to make changes in the way they eat, and it's like a lot of kind of pressure focusing, I think, a lot of the things that aren't good with ourselves or that we want to change. And I'd like to turn that around a little bit and just think of what it is that's really going to nourish us. I know, we use that word a lot, but what is it that makes us feel better, instead of just harping on the things that make us feel really crappy, flip it and what are the things that we can add, into our life that helps to make us feel better, or at least gets us off on the right track. And, it's more than just the food. I truly believe, and as you know, if you've been hearing or tapping into me, I think the very most important thing is connecting into your heart and your soul and getting into that quiet space, so you even know what's going on, right? What is happening, and what is right for you, and tapping into that spirit, whether it's Jesus or God or whatever your source is, your energy source, of just taking a moment, first thing in the morning and tapping into that. My little simple routine is just placing my hand, on my heart and just taking 3 deep breaths in gratitude. And when I breathe, I think of my breath as God, as that Holy Spirit coming into me. So when I wake up in the morning, instead of grabbing for my phone and looking at all that crap, excuse my French, but tuning into bringing in God's light and spirit into my heart, very first thing, and first starting with 3 thoughts of gratitude, and using that as a thank you and a connection. And just that little practice of listening to your breath, connecting to your spirit, to God, to Source, it really, it's a nice way to get started on your day. So it's part of my personal practice. And then following up with meditation, which is great, if you have more time, which is another 5 or 10 minutes, especially if you've got a snooze button that you're hitting in the morning, hit it and sit up in bed and use those 5 minutes of just meditating or deep breathing. And if you tune in with us every morning at 6:30, Vanessa leads a beautiful meditation, 10 minutes. It's really great. and it's a wonderful way of feeling community. It gives you a little bit of accountability to tune in at that time. And our goal is to get 2,400 people at 6:30 in the morning meditating. And by doing that, we're spreading good vibes out into the world, with starting with ourselves and then heading out to everyone else. But if you can't make it at 6:30, that's okay. You can still find it on our Chrysalis page and use it maybe during your lunch hour, or like right before you eat, or even make your dinner, for the family. Just taking 10 minutes just to kind of center yourself and just kind of checking in on where you're at and connecting to the Spirit, because they're there to help us, right? So if we need any extra help in that day, or are working on something, or just kind of left a frazzly work day and we're coming into the kitchen, maybe, instead of praying, over your food at dinner time, pray over it before you start cooking, and just maybe holding like this avocado or whatever you're going to be preparing, and just visualizing gratitude and where that was grown and how it was brought to you, and just think of those beautiful nutrients that are funneling into your body to nourish and help you. Simple little thing. So it's kind of cool. So adding in spirituality or prayer or connecting to your soul doesn't have to be difficult. That's kind of my point in all this. It can be very simple acts that you do during the day, So anyway, that's some of the things that I do, and just wanted to share that. I don't know, it just kind of popped into my head, so I'm just blabbing it out. So what I'm going to talk about today, since I was showing you the avocado, we call the avocado like the mother of fruit. So if there is any new thing that you want to add into your diet or work on, is try to get an avocado in every day if you can, even if it's half of an avocado. And the reason they call it the mother fruit is because it is the closest plant, vegetable or fruit source that's as close to the components of our breast milk. And so it's totally a nourishing type of fruit. Actually, did you know avocado was a fruit? Yeah, so it's got a little, because you have the seed in here. Anyway, it's good for your brain. It's very good. Like if you have any intestinal issues or any dietary issues that you're battling, avocado is very good. Just think of it like coating and soothing the inside of your stomach and your intestine, and it's very good for those sorts of things, as well as, like I said, for your heart and your brain. And it's just a very nourishing, nurturing fruit, and it's something great to add into. So instead of just thinking of guacamole, which we think of a lot of times with avocado, you can use it a lot of different ways. You can throw it into your smoothie. I know that sounds kind of weird and gross, but avocado really doesn't have much of a flavor. So it kind of takes on whatever seasonings you have with it. And it's very creamy. So when you throw it in your smoothie, it can really like thicken it up. It makes it like very rich and thick. So I usually use my avocados that are kind of gotten too soft or are, getting on the bad side. I will throw them in my smoothie. You can freeze them. I don't know if you knew that as well. They can be frozen, but don't freeze them whole. Like cut them up into chunks, and you can throw them in and freeze them that way. So just some practical tips with the avocado. A lot of people say, oh, I love them, but they always go bad on me. I don't know, I feel like I'm just wasting them. So I say you don't need to waste it. Leave it out if they're hard, and then when they're kind of soft to touch, I always just pop mine in the refrigerator because that holds them longer. And even then, if it still is getting mushy and hard, do what I just said. Just throw it in into your smoothie. It's just to be super good. So anyway, one day I had a hankering for like the old Loxs and bagel scene. I don't know what it was. I was just like craving capers and just salmon and the bagel with the cream cheese. So, but I didn't want to use a bagel. I wanted to do something that was a little healthier for you. Bagels really aren't good. It's very hard to digest. Really raises your insulin level because of it's not a complex carbohydrate. It's like a sugar, basically. And for some reason, they are very hard for your body to digest. So instead of the bagel, I brought it up a notch. And this is kind of the way I approach the way I eat too. It's like looking at something that you're preparing and thinking, well, how can I make it just a tad bit better? How can I make it so it's actually healing my body? So I use Ezekiel bread, which is a live sprouted grain, very low glycemic index, which means it's not going to spike your insulin, which means that you're going to be burning more, using more fat for your energy source, etc. But this also is great for people that are like on the fringe of being a diabetic, or maybe gluten is irritating. There's very little gluten in this, but it's not totally non-gluten, but it's very light in that. So you can toast up. So I toasted up the Ezekiel bread, and then instead of cream cheese, because I want to stay away from the dairy because it's very gloppy and kind of clogging. Oops, somebody popped on. Hello. Who is that? Hi, Kara Pike. How are you doing? Thank you for watching. So instead of the cream cheese, I thought, well, why not use avocado? I'll do the avocado instead. And so to flavor the avocado, I put the capers in there. So I took a tablespoon of capers and a teaspoon of lemon, and then I just mashed it up in here. And so you get that really nice caper flavor, and if they're not totally mashed, that's okay. And just a little pinch of salt in there. You don't need a lot of salt because we are going to use the smoked salmon. A little salt and pepper, and that was it. So I spread it on to the Ezekiel bread, and then I used, I had some smoked salmon. Trader Joe's has a nice, kind of, they call it pastrami style. Put that on there. If you happen to have red onion, you can sprinkle a little of that on. If you don't, it's no big deal. And there you go. It was so good. And it really, satisfied my craving for that, yummy, salmon, that Loxs and type of deal that you can have for breakfast. So a lot of times I will use avocado. I know it's becoming popular, avocado on toast. And so this is a way to kind of bump it up because you've got the salmon in there with the omega-3 for the old brain, right? And I'm going to take a bite because I'm really hungry. So that's it. Super easy, really great, and a good way to use your capers, as well. So I think that's all I have to say today. If you guys like this, give me a little thumbs up. I'll just write down, this is a very simple recipe. Thank you. Very simple recipe. I'll write it in the comments. And so remember, bring in the mother fruit, right? They call this the mother of fruit. The mother fruit, the thing that you want to get into your diet. I was reading about this with Anthony Williams, is a medical medium, and he has a whole chapter on avocados. Actually, there's a spiritual connection to it too, where if you need any nurturing, because it is so nurturing, because it's close to that mother's breast milk in composition, that if you are having some difficulty with people, or even if you're feeling ashamed or guilty and you need some love and nurturing, he says to eat avocado. Who knew? I didn't know that. So that's kind of cool. All right, so if you like this, share it. There's a little button right there on the left. You don't have to worry about putting a comment or anything. All you have to do is hit the button, and this information will share out to your feed, to your friends and family who might be interested. And remember to join Vanessa at 6:30 in the morning for her beautiful meditation. She does that from Monday through Friday. Okay, have a great weekend. Love ya. Bye. Oh, I didn't hit my butt. There we go. Thank you for the heart.